this is the price we have to pay for our success, Chris. That's what I have to say. So, hey, how are you, by the way? Welcome back from
I'm
Ireland.
I'm great. How was Ireland for you? We were there a
Uh,
week apart.
we were there a week apart, didn't talk to each other, still haven't met in person, which I think is great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So, before we talk about Ireland, and I'm the producers, i.e., folks who are helping us put this together, told me I have to do a lead in, an intro of the show, so that they can like edit it and put it on YouTube. So that's how it'll go. So today, Chris, we have two cool guests. And I continue my streak of booking guests so quickly you couldn't book any on your own, but we're changing that in the next couple weeks. So we have Spencer Scott, who I've never talked to before, but he started a trash business from scratch. Have you seen him on Twitter?
Yeah. I was just looking at him, like fascinating background. Was a software guy and then bootstrapped a trash company, it looked
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
Yeah, we should get the inspiration for that. But I think it's just that is I love that. I love that when people are just like, "Oh, we need trash service. I'm starting a trash company." So he'll
hmm
be great. And then Eric Pacifi is coming, who I may have mispronounced his name, but he and I have been internet friends for the longest, and then hung out at our conference. So he's SMB lawyer, SMB Law Group. So they do small business M&A. And there was actually a pretty cool um, like expose that's been happening about an SBA deal gone horribly wrong. Um, and it was discussed in a podcast earlier this year, and then Acquiring Minds, which is a podcast about M&A, specifically SBA stuff. And then there was actually some clauses that the seller put into the contract that were really, really bad that caused the whole
Interesting.
thing. The business just like had 80 employees, just like shut down one day.
Whoa.
So Eric and I were talking about that on Twitter today. So maybe we can get him to be
Okay.
part of talking about that too.
What not to do?
Man, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So what'd you guys do in Ireland? Tell me
We
about it.
were we were all over. We were in the west side in Killarney and Cork for a wedding because our buddies from Cork. So we got married on the west side of Ireland in Killarney. Very beautiful out there. We saw castles, horses, sheep, all the things you'd expect. And then we spent 3 very rainy and cold days in Dublin. And I totally understand why a lot of the major attractions in Dublin are visiting various distilleries or breweries because it's a very depressing place even in the summer, but it was still very fun. So sorry if you live in Dublin, but it was rainy and cold the whole time. How was your travels?
They told us that we had the absolute best weather they had seen all year. And
Well,
my friend, we stayed at his house. He's an American with dual citizenship, and he's married to an Irish woman. And so we stayed there, but they told us the weather was great. The one thing I noticed, it'd been like 20 years since I'd been to Ireland. And the last time I went there was for their wedding, like 2005 ish. And the thing that I noticed that was really stunning was how cosmopolitan Dublin has become since then. Like, I remember going to Dublin and all I saw were like white people
mhm,
everywhere. Like, everybody was pale, Irish white. And this time I went around and it was like so much more varied, like
mhm.
people of all creeds, colors, everything.
Yep. Yeah, it felt like we were that kind of north, or I guess eastern side of Dublin. Felt like Soma in San Francisco. It was
Yeah.
like all hyper modern. It was like very diverse, like interesting companies everywhere, mostly committing tax fraud, but interesting companies. And yeah, like just lots of young people. It seems like who had like moved there for work that we met. So it was cool. It was a cool experience.
Yeah. And then we went from there to Edinburgh
Hmm.
in Scotland, and we stayed with another set of friends. It was actually a lady who she's married. They both went to Trinity here, and she worked with me at Coda, our business, back in the day when we were getting it started. So she was like kind of employee number two, I think, or employee number one. And like to see her like 10 years later now, like she's a mom and
Hmm.
like she's like a director at a big tech company. Like that was really cool. And the thing I liked about them is they were very intentional. They lived in San Antonio, Austin, other places in the US. they just decided, and they're kind of young millennials, old Gen Z, they just decided they didn't want to live an American lifestyle anymore. Like they have gone all in on being a European lifestyle. Like they walk their kid to nursery, like they're ingrained in the kind of population in Edinburgh. Like a lot of their friends are Scottish. They weren't in their phone all the time. They're rarely on social media. I was like, these people may have something
Wrong with
figured out. I don't.
that?
Cool. Well, Spencer's here. You ready to welcome guest number one? How's my audio, by the way?
It's good. It sounds good.
Are you just saying that because we have the same exact microphone now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it sounds good to me. I think I can't tell like that much of a difference because we haven't spoken in a couple of weeks, but it sounds like the audio is clear. It's coming through good. So
Good. I spent $300 on this. It better be good.
yeah, better.
Oh, Spencer, you're live, man.
What up? I didn't realize this is a live thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I would have put even more gel in my hair.
at least you have hair.
There's only like 1,084 people now. So.
There's 1,000 people listening to this.
Well, maybe not all concurrently, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, Spencer,
Going,
thanks for doing this. So, have you met Chris before?
I have not. In fact, I wasn't even sure he was a real person or if he was just like a meme lord on the internet on Twitter.
I'm sponsored and created by OpenAI. I'm just an interface, and
Nice,
yeah,
dude.
that's it.
You respond very cleanly and quickly.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish I had your level of like just wit. I like to think I'm witty, and then I like open up Twitter and you're like just murdering people, and I love it.
I've taken a bit of a break. I need to get back at it, but I appreciate it.
No, it is fun. I love it. I'm a supporter for what it's worth.
The best is when guests come on this live stream and they expect that aspect of Chris's personality to be 100% of his personality, and they realize like it takes a few minutes where people are just like, you see him just kind of like this, like, okay, when's Chris going to drop something just like his tweets? And you realize like, oh, he's actually a whole person. Like that's just one aspect.
Dude, when I see his stuff, I don't even look at it for like the context it is. I sit there and look at it and going like, how did he think of this? How is he this creative? Like he had to do like, cause like my mind, you spin version 1 of a good response and then you always have to like respin it. But then when I look at his stuff, I'm like, he's like 4 or 5 cycles deeper on like the rewrite. In my
I got paid to tweet for like 2 years. So, you know,
really?
it more so than just a normal blue check. So I just spent a lot of time staring at the algorithm, seeing what would work, what wouldn't.
It's world class. It's really well. When I look at it, I'm not kidding. I like get jealous. I'm like, how does he come up with this shit? I'm like, dude, it's like a SNL writer.
Yeah.
So what is your writing process, Chris?
I don't know. I mean, I try to just go with the thing that comes top of mind. Like usually I think revisions make things worse for sure. I think just like whatever your initial, like if somebody has, you know, I think a lot of it's like tech news based, but I think that like if any of us are reading news on an industry that we know that there's so much bullshit out there. And so I think everybody, especially in tech, is just like purely rah, this is amazing. We should all root for each other. And so I think it's very funny to call out like obvious fraudsters and grifters and like things gone wrong with AI is a big one. Because it's like, yeah, you can take like the good things of any chatbot or whatever. And it's like, you know, pat the maker on the back or whatever, but like AI is pretty bad overall, actually. So like, that's a very funny thing to talk about that like very few people are attacking without actually like attacking the company or the creators themselves. Right. Of just saying like this, a lot of the tech stuff is like very, very overhyped. We're in another bubble. We're in another cycle. The AI stuff's probably going to be as bad as crypto. Like, that's just how I feel. So like, if you just say that online,
that's
it's
a good hot take.
thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Dude, you got to kill. So I haven't seen your work on LinkedIn, but like, when you look at LinkedIn, it's the worst version of what you just described. Like someone gets a new job and like, oh my God, like you were the best we ever had. Congrats, you've moved on. Or it's like, you know, that kind of stuff. Or it's like there's this weird echo chamber on LinkedIn where I think like if a company tweets that like, hey, we rolled out a new feature that allows you to like add 26 more characters. And then everyone in the company is like, this is the greatest, you know, sliced bread was a thing, but now there's 26 more characters. Like
The main problem with LinkedIn is that they retaliate if you use their platform in ways that they don't like. So I've had many pings from automated and a couple from actual people at LinkedIn, like threatening to like
really?
shut off my account and stuff because of
I
my,
gotcha.
I have like a witty education background on LinkedIn and they don't like that. They want my like real it's just like, it's stuff like that constantly. So
Totally.
you have to be careful over there. But where are you based?
I'm in Dallas.
Nice.
What about
Okay.
you?
I'm right now in Minnesota, usually in San Francisco though.
So I'm from Michigan, live in
Okay.
Dallas full time now.
Nice.
Which town in Dallas are you in? Or are
So
you in?
I'm in the Lucas area. It's like East Plano kind of section.
Yep. I am familiar with that.
Yeah,
So,
I'm right off so you've got that fireworks stand. I
yep.
wouldn't call it a stand. I would call it a
It's an
castle.
establishment,
Yeah,
Spencer. Let's get
yeah,
crystal clear.
dude. Used to be a stand. Now it's freaking huge. When I first saw you build that, I saw the building go up. It's on Parker Road. Parker Road is stuffy. Like that's like there's some rich people on Parker Road. Like Parker's this little sub city. And he built this giant fireworks stand in there. And I'm like, one, I don't know how he pulled this off inside of the city of Parker. And then two, I saw the building and I was like, I kind of wish that was like an indoor basketball court. That was like my first thought. I think when you built that, Mike, I DM'd you and was like, dude, how much did that cost? I want one of those. Just the building itself. I'm like, I'm on this indoor basketball kick. But anyways.
Short answer is too much. Yeah, it is. So it's technically not in the city of Parker. I think like the first 200 feet of the property are in the city of Parker. So we're actually in the county behind it. That's why we can sell fireworks there.
Yeah.
Welcome to Texas. We got some
It's like
screwy ass rules here.
Yeah, it is. It is weird, and it is weird seeing that fire because normally it's like on like farmland. Somebody drops out like a shipping container somewhere, and it'll say like Bubba's Fireworks, and it'll be like in the middle of nowhere. But not Girdley's, right in the middle of Parker. Just this big warehouse building.
Yeah, good times.
I need to make it out and visit one of the locations. Maybe when I come and meet you for the first time, Girdley, we'll meet at an Alamo location.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just do some explosions.
Yeah.
So Spencer, I wanted to ask you about this journey you've gone on from kind of being involved in a number of different things. I think one of which was tech. But then the second one was just going all in on being garbage. And I don't mean that literally. I mean like you're in the
I'm
garbage
garbage.
business.
I totally.
But you have, I mean, you're the first person to show up and not use their real name to our live stream, and it says the Garbage Man. Like, so you're all in on this, like from.
I mean, you gotta laugh at it to some extent, you know. Yeah, garbage. We pick up garbage.
So why'd you do it?
Garbage was never on my radar. I still own two software companies. And I live in this neighborhood just like down the road from your fireworks stand, a couple miles. And it's considered outside of city limits. Never thought much of it. We moved in, pay, everything makes sense. Trash gets picked up. We got water, all that kind of stuff. Then one day the trash stopped getting picked up. All of the people in like our Facebook group when this like stuffy neighborhood, like all the wives mainly started being like, what the hell? They're not doing this. They're not doing that. Looked into it and there's a private equity company, right? It always goes back to the private equity company called Kinderhook, who is rolling up trash companies across South America. I think with the idea of selling them to like Waste Management, Waste Connections, Republic, those kind of deals. So anyways, Kinderhook bought this company called Barnes, which was just like a mom and pop trash company doing, I don't know, maybe like 8 million a year. And when they bought it, they immediately like fired half the staff. And so then the routes started getting dropped and they upped the pricing. It's the private equity playbook. Cut the staff, raise the prices. All of a sudden, it was a great purchase. But people started getting pissed. started doing some math. There's about 400 houses in here. We were charged like $35 a can. And I was like, dude, I'm in the software business. This looks genius to me. Cause I'm like, there's 400 houses. If people have 2 cans, they're charging probably $60 a month. You know, that times 400, I'm like, this one day a week could make 300 grand. Or this is making 300 grand one day a week. And so I posted in that Facebook group and said, hey, if you guys really are as mad as you say you are, I'll start a trash company. Here's what I need. And I said, I need 200 people to sign up, which was half the neighborhood. And I need you to pay for the first 3 months of service. And I put a Stripe link out there, and I didn't really think that anything was going to come of it, if I'm being totally honest. I mean, I knew some people would sign up, but I didn't think that many. And so we, in like 10 days, I think we had 150 signups, raised like 15 grand in cash. It was 3 months of service. So we had 5 grand of subscriber revenue. And this was like before we had a LLC or literally anything, you know? And so then that's it right there. So then I turned to my wife, and I don't know if you know this about Stripe, but like you can escrow the money. And I kept trying to like re-extend the escrow date so I could, because if it hits your account, then the refund you have to like pay for. But right. If it like stays in their escrow, you're good. And so I'm like telling my wife, I'm like, oh shit. And then one day we hit they wouldn't let me keep doing it. And so I forget, there's like a timeline. The money hit the account, and I'm like, I guess we're garbage men. And I went on to Facebook group, and it was like called Mom and Pop Trash Group or Mom and Pop Garbage People. And I bought this garbage truck sight unseen for, I forget, like $35,000, and then another $2,500 in shipping and taxes and stuff, about 40 grand all in. And I financed the whole thing, but we didn't have a business. So I put it on, I run my software companies through American Express. So we had like a line of credit with them. It wasn't even a line of credit. I think it was like a personal loan, 7 years, 7% interest or something like that. And I clicked the button, 40 grand was in the account, bought the truck, and the payment was like $700 a month. And then long story short, I mean, I didn't mean to go on a tangent for you for that one, but that's.
So step one is you went and saw a need, and then you went and sold it to collect money to verify the need. And then you went and figured out and hacked how to buy a trash truck that was used, and you bought it sight unseen. You didn't have it inspected or anything?
Dude, okay, Mike, what am I going to do? Like if I go out there and be like, yep, looks like a trash truck, smells like a trash truck. Like, you know, like,
Wait, like, did you have him operate it for you or anything?
Like, yeah. He sends me videos of like the dumbest shit in hindsight. It's like this, a guy driving it. He's like, see, it works. And it's like him driving down the road. And I'm like, well, I mean, seems legit. Why would it not be legit? The other thing was I was in the hospital with my wife, literally having our kid. So I bought this truck sight unseen, sent the wire, and I couldn't go out there even if I wanted to because we were having our 3rd child. And I shit you not, this is like parts, you start to forget parts of it because it's been like such a bloodbath. But like the truck, we get home from the hospital with our 3rd child. I got 3 boys. And they would get home at 5 o'clock. I get a call from the transit guy that's delivering this garbage truck and goes, hey, I should be there at 7. And he goes, but it shows a residential house. He goes, I can't drop this off at it was a semi truck on a giant trailer. He goes, is there like a truck station we can go there somewhere? And I had to leave my wife. We got home at 5, you know, just giving birth, and go and pick up a garbage truck down the road at like some truck stop at 7 o'clock. And then I get there and the batteries are dead. And I'm like, this is the start of the journey. This is how. So I couldn't get it off the trailer. The trucker guy's pissed. I'm running to Walmart trying to buy like batteries, but they're commercial batteries. So Walmart doesn't carry commercial batteries. You know, Napa's closed, but you know, it's just story after story for that, but we're still going. We got 3 trucks now, 3 employees.
Before we get there, I got to ask. So your wife's giving birth,
Yeah.
Does she know you're buying a truck on your phone while she's in labor? Or
Yeah, because I'm sitting in the bed next to her, sending the wire, and then signing up for insurance because I had to buy the insurance in case the truck like fell off the trailer on the way back. And I'm like shopping commercial insurance while the nurse is in there, like going like, Mike, you got kids. This is the third one, man. We're built for this. Like once you get past the first one, the rest of them just kind of walk
That's
on.
right. On number 3,
Yeah.
your wife is like, yeah, that's expected behavior.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm just glad you're here at the hospital. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not like this is new. This is some new, like, first time experience for her. I could have been like buying an airplane and she'd have been like, yeah, no, he does this.
We're now in business against Delta Airlines.
Right, right.
About a
Yeah.
4-seater. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, so now you own a truck, and you have paying customers, like, and you got to get it insured, you got to get it registered. You probably are filing an LLC at this point. I mean, then what
No,
happens?
we didn't file the LLC for 3 months into the business. I mean, I didn't say that. I mean, we're super legit. We did everything perfect. What happened? Okay, so I had to get bins. Funny enough, in the chat, I see this guy Charlie Dolan. I was in Hampton at the time, Sampar's Hampton. I think that's how you and I met. Mike, you
Yep.
came to speak there. And in Hampton, I said, does anyone know? This is, dude, love Sam. Hampton's kind of stuffy. Like, I don't, again, love Sam.
Yeah.
Say that a million times. I don't think there's a lot of dudes in Hampton who knew how to do an oil change, right? They're like, it's kind of more tech bro-y, if that makes sense. But anyways, I posted in there, anyone know anything about the trash business? And Charlie Dolan is also in Hampton. And we get on a call and I was like, he's like, what do you need? And I'm like, dude, I need garbage bins. Like I need 200 to 400 garbage bins in like the next, basically an impossible time. But for you and I thought was like a normal time. Like I thought people just sat on bin inventory. And so I was like, hey, I need trash bins in the next about 30 days, 14 days. And he introduced me to some company called Cascade out of Michigan, which literally injection molds trash bins, but they do it to order. So like they need 30 days. And so I called them. The lady laughs at me. I was like, don't you have like some misprints or something you can give me? She goes, I don't have misprints. She goes, but there's a company called, what was it? B&G Supplies that buys all of the used trash bins. And there's another company in Michigan, and some company just sold, and B&G Supplies bought their used inventory. This is the crazy part. The guy who sold the company ended up finding our story, I think on Twitter or something, and goes, bro, you bought my used trash bins. Anyway, so I bought used trash bins and had them shipped down here. And so that was kind of, you basically need a garbage truck and some trash bins, and you can operate this pretty easy.
And then, and Chris, jump in here if you have any questions, but I'm enthralled. Okay, so now you have the truck. It's licensed. This is do you need a special CDL to drive this?
Yeah, if you look at that truck, it's a single axle. It's a under CDL truck sitting empty. So when it's sitting, give me 1 second here. I got to shut this off. When it's sitting empty, it's under CDL. Right? And so I think it sits at like 25,000 pounds. But it's like the biggest under CDL truck you can buy. Like I haven't really seen one since. It's a 16-yard truck. And if you look at us, it's not, you don't put the trash in the top, you put it, or in the back, you put it on the side. So it can be operated by one person, and it has like an arm that comes out and grabs it and tips it. So yeah, we bought that truck. And then anyone could drive it. So like my wife has never like ran a route, but like I have videos of her driving the truck around, which are pretty funny. So
what about like, are there city ordinances where like certain cities or counties have like contracts with different like waste removal trash companies? Like how do you get around that, or do you have to deal with that?
You deal with it. So basically, one thing that's interesting about Texas, and I think this is everywhere, just no one talks about it, is there, if you're in like a populous area, there's city limits. Like, and what a city limit is, by my description, is where the city supplies utilities. So you're thinking water, electric, gas, kind of the main ones. If the city hasn't built infrastructure yet to those areas, they call it outside of city limits. And so anything outside of city limits doesn't fall into city contracts. Well, in Texas, that's basically infinite. Like,
Right.
city limits are big, but like there's not that urban sprawl that you see kind of everywhere else. And anywhere kind of has this situation. So anyone outside of city limits is basically like open to choose their own gas company, their own electrical. People have propane, all sorts of stuff. So people can just sign up and bill monthly with us. We bill 3 months at a time. But that's also, Chris, why I started this. Because like if you look around at these city contracts, there's a city down the road from me, like 10 minutes, called the city of McKinney, and their trash contract just got outbid to a company called Frontier for $20 million a year. So like if you get just one city contract, and we've got like a couple small city contracts, like minor city contracts. But like if you get this to a breaking point and you win a city contract or two, those are locked in 3-6 years, and you can get a couple of those under your belts. This can really scale quick.
Yep.
If you do it right.
I guess I have infinite questions, and I know Gridley does too. How I guess the two that I'll ask: how hard is hiring for this? You said you're now at 3 trucks, so you're at like some degree of scale. Like you can't just run this business yourself. You have to hire people, employ them.
Yeah.
They have to have a certain amount of training. Like how difficult is that?
Oh, it's impossible. Yeah. So I drove the truck. So I own these software companies that do well enough where like I don't need to pull cash out of this, so I can kind of dump it back in. And I went through 7 drivers, I think, in like a couple of months, and like it's hard to like. I'm telling the pros this, like you guys are the pros, like you gotta really spend time with somebody to just find out what their work ethic is and like where they're gonna break, because like they're going to people's houses. It doesn't sound like much, but like if you get to your house and your trash is just thrown all over, or like somebody didn't pick something up, like you get pissed pretty quick, reasonably so.
Yep.
So hiring's been hard. We hired, this is gonna sound funny, my cousin. He graduated from Arkansas, went to work at an insurance company, said that this is the worst experience of his life, quit, and goes, I would rather be a garbage man. And he drives the truck, and then he just has, this is where I've been lucky. He's had friends, and he was in a frat. And so now we've got like this funnel of kids that are like hardworking, who are willing to like get after it, who are probably overeducated for the job, but they're like enjoying the experience of like growing this, and they're helping me grow it. So like they see, I think they're all entrepreneurial at heart, and they plan on probably quitting and spinning off their own thing, but they're like watching the experience kind of happen and going, I don't know. That's what I tell myself. Hopefully they don't quit. If you're watching this, don't quit.
Keep going.
But that's where we found a lot of our help. We haven't been really hiring too much outside. Trent's been kind of our
awesome
help.
The chief recruiter.
Yeah.
And, template for what you want. And I guess how much of this do you think about as being AI proof? Gurley and I were just talking about this. Like, it seems like a great business from that perspective. Like, you've diversified your own portfolio. I mean, it sounds like you got into this very accidentally, but as part of this for you, like, the software stuff could come and go, certain jobs in those sectors could come and go, but this is something that like 100 years from now, people still need their trash picked up.
Yeah. I think there's some of that. I wish I was like that smart. I don't think I'm that smart. I think it's more of like, I'm like that dog, like squirrel, like look over there, something shiny object thing. And I think part of that is 1, just like a curiosity. And then 2, also like, dude, if I was printing $10 million a year in software, this would not exist. Right. I think that I took some of these software companies as far as I take them, or they just weren't working great. I mean, they all make six figures, multiple six figures. Like they do well for just general terms, but like I don't know, maybe I got bored or lazy or just, wanted more. And so I see this as a 10-year play. Like I think it's pretty reasonable that like you scale this for 10 years, you win a city contract or two, and you could probably sell it for 20 to 50 million, depending on where you go.
Yeah. How are multiples in this industry?
Like anything the service industry, it's being I would say, like, so I had a call 30 minutes ago before this call about somebody calling to just literally try and buy us as a brokerage firm whose just whole job is to like list trash companies. The multiples suck it, but then they go up really high when you get to higher revenue numbers. So I think it's just like that's where the PE play comes in. Like where we're at right now, it's probably 1.5, I would say, like at our revenue number. But then when you get to like the millions, it starts to really, really change. Margin kind of sucks too, if I'm being honest with you. Like, it's probably like 20% margin for us, where like in my software businesses, like they're doing like 80, 90. So it's a machine to run. It's probably more work than I thought it was going to be, if I'm being honest with you.
So is this one of those businesses that everybody that's a business nerd like us loves to talk about, but the reality is when you dig into it, like it's really freaking difficult?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to lie to everyone on Twitter and to their face and say it's the greatest thing I've ever done. And I do enjoy it more than software. If I did this and was trying to live off it, like we're selling the house and moving into a trailer. Like, and the reason for that is like these companies have to do just, it's a numbers game, right? One, especially for this, like I'm changing tires. Like I changed the radiator hose yesterday. I'll just like get a call that something breaks, hydraulic lines, like all sorts of problems that you would never like. I think most people, I enjoy them because I've been sitting in this stuffy office for how many years doing the software thing. And I think I'm more of a hands-on guy anyways, but look at it numbers wise. Like you have to do $1 million to make 200 grand before taxes. So you're like talking, 150, 110 grand, and you're doing $1 million in revenue. And that's not including the debt, right? I mean, we do virtually no debt right now, which is probably stupid. But yeah, I would say like long term, it's great if you can grind it out. But I would say most people like us wouldn't and shouldn't grind it out. And the reason I say that is you look around at these operators that like we're competing with, and you're like, what am I missing here? And they had no other choice but to grind it out, right? That's kind of what I'm noticing. Like a lot of no college out there in the trash business is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I love it. I'll love it a lot more when it starts paying me. But it's going really good. I'll say like
that's awesome.
It's hard.
And so you're 2 years into this now on the trash side?
Under 2 years. So January will be 2 years.
And what is you have 3 trucks right now. You're not driving a truck, which is a huge win.
Yep.
And what is kind of how many customers you have? What is top line revenue?
So we're over top line. I think we're at like 400K right now in subscriber revenue, like ARR. We'll probably finish the year at like 600. We're adding anywhere from 50 to 100 customers a month. Customers are expensive because I treat it like the software environment. Like it's a kind of a low cost, win the customer, look at LTV type stuff. What I mean by that is because we got to supply the bins. So like I'm a little bit of a numbers guy from the software space. So like bins cost $60, manufactured here in Dallas, shipped and then landed to the customer's house with like salary, gas and stuff. So you're about $60 into a bin. Most people get 2 bins. I'm out $120 when people sign up. We charge 3 months up front. So we charge like 105 or more to get somebody to sign up. And then, then you got to pick it up and you're paying, gas. So it's one of those games where like the sign up is costly, but then when the debt is paid off on each customer, it becomes a pretty profitable. So I mean, I think if we do an acquisition or two, this will be a really fun business, and we're currently talking with like 2 to 3 companies to buy them. I'm trying to do like a mini PE play because I want to get to the fun numbers.
Well, it feels like that's the way to go really fast if you can. Like you
Yeah.
can do the organic growth thing, but that's costly. So if you can afford it, just, buy people in adjacent markets and go that
Exactly.
way. Yeah.
The problem is going back to like the education part of it that I was talking about earlier, like the people you're dealing with, they have no clue to how to value a business. And I'm looking at them not on future earnings, but like historic earnings. And I'm going like, listen, the SBA, if I max this out, is only giving you this much. Like I can't go more than this. Like no one's financing a business with these numbers you're asking for. And I think that's like the painful part that I have with this, because I do want to just start sweeping up as many people that will say yes, but getting them to like a realistic evaluation is like pulling teeth. It's like, no, your kid's a little ugly. Like it needs braces and, but
would you do this again?
You can't ask me that, dude. I'm in the middle.
Okay, Chris, ask him if he'd do it again.
No, I mean you
do this again.
Dude,
it's fine if Chris asks. Yeah.
Ask me in 10 years. Yeah, I would do it again, dude. I love it. I think I'm one of those guys that like my mental stability is safer like moving around, like not being behind a computer. So like if I could do it all day, I would love it. I can't do it all day because it doesn't pay me like that. Does that answer it? So I think this is exactly what I needed in my life. But that's because I have checks coming from other places.
Have there been like, I mean, yeah, it sounds like this would have been, like you said, like impossible to just go off and find a next door Facebook group with like no other source of income, no other business experience. Like it would have been a much tougher journey, right?
Well, if I would have kept driving, so like we pay well. That's the toss up, right? Like if I was driving the truck still, I think, I could probably take home $100,000, or more, but yeah, I don't know, man. I love it. I really do.
Have you seen, you mentioned like a bunch of shit that was broken literally with like replacing tires and hoses and fuses and stuff in trucks. But like, have there been other things? You mentioned like the injection place in Michigan, I think you said it was. Like, have there been things around this, whether it's like manufacturing bins, cleaning bins, like being a truck broker, like stuff that you've learned in the last year and a half?
Chris, you or me, dude. So, all right, here's
that's what this is all about.
Here's the thing, Chris. This is okay. This is it. This is what I'm about to. We had a truck breakdown and we needed to get another truck. I'm shitting my pants because now we're down to one truck and we have thousands of customers. In a panic, I start going in like looking for garbage trucks, and I stumble across a guy who posts that he's having a municipality auction, and the auction is for like 200 or 20 used police cars, lawnmowers, just a bunch of shit, honestly bullshit. And I shouldn't have been scrolling through it anyways. It turns out they had 2 garbage trucks. I'm scrolling through here and I find 2 5-year-old garbage trucks. So 2020 garbage trucks that are being auctioned from the city of Wichita Falls, which is like the middle and for me, it's the middle of nowhere, Texas.
It's pretty far.
I don't want to like insult the people of Wichita, but
the first rental property I ever bought in my life was in Wichita Falls, Texas, by the way.
Really?
So I know exactly where it is.
And you sold it. Congratulations.
I got out very quickly. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I drove out there. They had this auction, and the garbage truck was the very last thing to be auctioned. And as I'm sitting there, I learned more about the auction space. Long story short, municipalities that service their own trash, are just trying to service the trash. So what they'll do is they'll buy these trucks and they'll keep them for 5 years when they're under warranty, and then sell them right at the 5-year mark, no matter what quantity, like what state they're in. most of them are in great condition because they're municipality trucks and 5 years is nothing. So I get out there and they had 2 trucks, one with like 50,000 miles and one with 40,000 miles. These are 2020 diesels, Mac diesels with like, in my opinion, no miles on them. And basically they're just constantly cycling through trucks. They go and buy one with the taxpayer dollar, $400,000 truck, run it for 5 years, put it up for auction. Whoever buys it, buys it. The auction I went to was in person only. So I show up, we're sitting through this auction. It goes on for like 6 hours. We leave, we drink some beers, we come back. Turns out there's only one other guy at the auction who wants the garbage truck. And he's like a broker. Like he just buys them and then sells them to other people. And like, I'm a little bit greasy. Like, I'm like, who's the other guy here? And I'm like asking the auction guy, I'm like, who else? Like, who am I competing with? Like, kind of being coy. And he's like, that guy. And I go and talk to this guy. And I was like, so which, and at first he's not giving me anything, but then I was like, so which one you got your eyes on? I was like, it looks like this is going to be a bloodbath, huh? Because like, I really need a truck. And he goes, I tell you what, he goes, if you don't bid on that one, I won't bid on this one. And we'll call it a day. Dude, his truck went up first. I no bid it. Second truck comes up, the one that I bid on. And I got this truck for $60,000 and financed it through a truck company. And this is where I say this is the absolute game changer. 3 of those trucks are for sale online right now, both in Facebook and just public websites for $200,000 to $250,000. And I financed the truck 0% down. So like I could have just went to this auction, bought the truck with 0% down on financing, turned around, put it on Facebook Marketplace or some sort of public, truck sales website, and probably made 150 grand, which is more than I'll make in a year's worth of picking up thousands of houses of trash a day.
Yeah.
And so like there's shit like that. I think that's like a real low hanging fruit, because if you really break down everything that just happened there, like municipalities are having auctions every day. There is no standard like auction house. It could be a guy in his house who shows up and auctions right at the lot, or it could be like a Gov Deals website. And I think if you just built a directory of like every municipality, let's just say in Texas, and then you call them and you say, hey, when's your next auction? Because they're all doing auctions. And you just say you'll drive traffic to the auction, tell us what you're auctioning and when, and you create an inventory of like that, and then you bring the buyers in like a little bit of a marketplace. I think you could, buy the one, I want to do this. One, I want cheap trucks. And then 2, I'm like, anything that I buy cheap, I could just sell. And again, I'm competing with dudes who like don't get this. Like they have no clue. Like they're smoking cigarettes and goes, can I get a 1? Can I get a 2? Like just pointing at stuff over here. And I think just equipment, like niche equipment sales could crush it online. They're already crushing it. I just don't see like an easy way to buy it. So I think there's a lot of cross-pollination. I think that a trash company that's like making the bins too is printing money. My average order with them is like $15,000 and I'm like their smallest client. So like how much is it going to cost for me to buy like an injection mold machine?
Mm-hmm.
I don't love them because they're not subscription businesses, but I got to tell you, those companies are printing money for sure. Like they probably don't trade at multiples, but they probably kick out a lot of cash. Girdley, you're just smiling over there.
I know. I'm taking.
How full of shit am I? I mean,
No. This is.
You got to cut me off. I was starting to ramble there.
No, I'm writing this down because after we do these lives, we take the best parts and put it on YouTube. And this story about finding adjacent businesses by going to a random auction in Wichita Falls, just excellent. That's what I was writing. That's why I was smiling. I was like, "This is a good clip."
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, so we're up on time. So Spencer, thanks for being here. I noticed you have a strong merch game going on for Lone Star Trash.
Dude. Yeah, we pedal. We've sent Lone Star Trash merch to probably like 40 of the 50 states. We've got we set up a Shopify store and hired a graphics design team to like come up with some, kind of clickbaity, I guess, I don't know, mildly offensive trash shirts, and we've sold them, put them up on Twitter, and they've gone all over the place.
Yeah, these are great.
We
I'll
have,
get you a hat.
yeah, we get you a
I
hat.
I take big dumps. Do you make that in adult sizes?
Yeah.
Well, seriously, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
awesome.
People can go to
Anytime.
lonestartrash.com and get their get some gear if they want it.
That's right. It's all drop ship, Shopify, and Printful. So like I don't touch any of it. It's just for brand. We don't really make too much money from it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you have a total SEO optimized.
Dude, we have
website.
Here's I'll leave you with this. It's total SEO optimized website. If you were to look at like Google's page, whatever thing, we have 4,000 landing. We're like the second largest trash company on the internet. We have like 4,000 landing pages. Like if you go to our like sitemap at the bottom, it is smashed. So
interesting.
anyways.
Awesome. Dude,
Awesome.
super entertaining. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
good to meet you. This is awesome.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys too. Do I drop out or can you boot me?
I think just click X.
All right. Hasta la bye-bye.
So good.
That was great. That was a wild ride.
That was.
So
I
kudos to
still
the-
had so many questions.
go
That's
forever.
how you know it's good. 'Cause I'm like writing down things to ask, and I was like, "Oh, we could be here for an hour and a half." You know, just on this.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I've wait, you have 3 kids?
Yeah.
How would your wife feel if you were launching a business while she was going in labor?
I mean, I think I may have logged into Stripe a couple times in the hospital, but it wasn't like buying a trash truck. It was like checking subscription SaaS revenue and stuff. So it's different. Yeah.
But that was just in a downtime. You're not
Yeah.
doing deals. You're not raising a fundraising
exactly.
round.
Exactly. No, that would be insane. I mean, it seems like, I think he said it well. Like this is a probably terrible grind for the first 5 years. And then if you can get it to a 10, 20, $50 million business, it's like an incredibly sick business. Like anything. So,
well, I mean, dynamics wise, you have big economies of scale and big geographic moats, right? So the bigger you get, if your kind of density gets really high with your trash pickup, and then I think as you get bigger, you get better pricing on stuff. You can start to centralize repairs. I watched just the same kind of story, like a dude with a truck garbage thing started about 15 years ago. They're on the same road as one of my businesses, so I drive past them all the time. And like eventually they got to a point where they have like 150 trucks, so they have like a fleet of mechanics who are there like they don't have to go out to shops anymore. They can just do it. And I think you get some economies of scale around that whole thing.
Yeah.
So the problem is, sorry to continue on with this, but the problem is the real thing that captures the value here are the people that own the dumps. So it's kind of like rock quarries. Have you studied like the dynamics of rock quarries and trash dumps and stuff like that? Okay, so it's kind of the same thing like as the story of the United States is. It's really hard to build a new trash dump or a new rock quarry, right? Nobody wants that near their house. And this is a country currently where a couple of people with big voices can kill anything. It's really easy to kill stuff. So what that means is like all the trash dumps have been bought up by big corporations, waste management and folks like that. And they can charge whatever they want to charge. Because like here, like on the east side of San Antonio, we have one trash dump. It's owned by a private company. You can either pay what they're asking or you can figure out something else to do with the trash. And that's just how it works. So guys like Spencer, other haulers, like you're at the mercy of those guys.
Yeah, like competing with waste management in that sense, like the ultimate sort of vertically integrated company who like makes their own cans, has a massive fleet of mechanics, endless fleet of, trucks on the road. They have all the city contracts. They've delivered on those city contracts for decades. They own the dumps, like just end to end. Like going up against that as an upstart is like one of the more crazy, like admirable things that I've heard. And it sounds like he just was in this like perfect opportunity where the existing company went to shit because of PE. But it's like, I think about it all the time. Like we have Republic, which is another massive trash company that's end to end vertically integrated. And I hate how much we pay them. But yeah, it's like, what else are you going to do? It's like $180 a month for like 4 cans for our house.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, but it's also like, I understand that like to pay drivers and provide the cans and like dump the trash, it's a lot of work. So
Here in the People's Republic of San Antonio, we have municipal garbage, so it's paid for by my taxes. So
nice.
yeah, you get that People's Republic of San Antonio. It's a good joke, right?
Yeah, I like it.
I think it's also, I mean, the Spencer stuff is also a great story about how getting and having a bias to action and getting into a business and doing something like that is how you discover so many business opportunities, period. And, we're seeing it with like our staffing business. I'm sure you're seeing it with your ghostwriting, business where like you just run across stuff. You're like, oh, you know what we really need? We really need AI recruiters. Like and we know precisely what we're going to do. So like, let's put that together. And then other stuff, I think that's pretty common.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I think what he's identified is that if you can take like software businesses are hard in a different way,
Yeah.
but he just approaches the world very differently from the high school dropout who like drives a truck for 15 years and then eventually works with a local regional bank to finance his own truck and like starts a local company that way. Like he's approaching this with sort of like a internet first, online first mentality of like he's using Stripe to pre-collect. He's SEO optimizing his site. Like those little things might not matter now, but I do think that one of the things that I admire is like if you can go into a business where people don't understand how to use the internet and you can be a little bit smarter at like recruiting, at finding cheap stuff, like doing all the things that he was talking about, you just have this like massive long-term advantage. And it gets talked about a lot on Twitter, but I think that there's still so many companies like the idea of like reading Nick Huber or somebody talking about this versus actually going out and like financing a $40,000 trash truck is like miles away from where, I am personally. So it's pretty cool.
So would you do what he did?
I would, but I would start with an acquisition. I think just like skipping the first 5 years would be critical if you can. I think it's a super interesting opportunity, but I think if you can, either by just getting private investors doing SBA, like it sounds like if you could take a bite out of a $5 million top line revenue business, you could save yourself like 2 to 5 years of like really, really hard, annoying times. And then you're at like some economy of scale where presumably if he has 3 trucks with 400K with a $4 million business, you have, 20, 30, 40 trucks on the road at that point. You have a pipeline of talent that you can, if somebody gets sick, you can swap people out. Like just a much easier business to run. But I get that bootstrapping these things is fun. Like that's what we both like to do. So
yeah, it's definitely more fun.
Yeah.
So I did not confirm that Eric is coming today. So hopefully he shows up. He has the link. He did book the time. While we wait for him, I want to ask you.
I actually saw he's also booked for August 12th.
Oh, he may have booked himself twice.
So I wonder if he's coming on the 12th instead of now.
Or September the 12th, you mean?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, he is booked for
August 12th, yeah.
All right, maybe you and I can just chat then. I'll just delete this. All right, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
All right. I was inspired by this tweet this morning. So Chamath. I'll just start this out.
Great start.
Like, there's part of it where I'm of one mind where this is the type of slop, like when I say that there's too much slop on Twitter and it shows me this stuff. And the reason it shows me this stuff is it's a pro Tesla thing that Elon has retweeted. I guarantee. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's showing it to me. You're forced to see this, whether you like it or not. He owns the platform. And like I know Shamath is a smart guy, and he is in here riling people up because he fundamentally has said and believes that all eyeballs are good eyeballs, whether you're smart or not smart, whether you make people mad or not. You should just, a good eyeball is a good eyeball. And there's part of me that is just like I want to resist the urge to like engage with this just because of that. I don't want to be part of that slop, and I don't want to
Mhm.
feel like I'm wasting my time and my brain power on it. But at the same time, I also admire the game he's running, this is very calculated. Like
Mhm.
he is totally calculated with this stuff. Just like 4 years ago, he was super woke, and now like he's super Elon Trump, right? Like that's
Yep.
totally calculated. That's just he sees where the wind's blowing. He's playing the game. So I have conflicted emotions. How should I think about this?
Like, should you be playing the game, or should you resist the game and just like stick to your principles and engage?
I'm not playing this game. No, that's
Yeah.
not it. I'm just trying to figure out if I should even spend any time on it. How should I feel about this? Like, should I even watch it? Should I even care that it happens, or should I just scroll on?
Anytime something bothers me a little bit now on X, I just mute them. And what I've noticed is I mute the person who I find annoying. I used to like mute threads and stuff, especially if I was tagged in it, or if somebody that I followed was engaging back and forth, and it would like show up all the time. Now I just mute the person. Like if you have, it's sort of like a 3-strike rule in my mind. If you have 3 moderately bad or severely bad takes, or 3 things that I hate, I don't follow that many people to begin with, but like people like Chamath, I just block or mute. Because I think that there is no upside for engagement unless you think that you can like ratio the person. Like if you engaged in any way on this post, you are like feeding into the views. You are pulling your audience of like hundreds of thousands of people to like a very, very, very dumb tweet. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
So
kudos to him. I hear you. I admire the game. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think I also think it's interesting that you see like a ton of pro Tesla stuff, whether you want to or not, in the same way that I think before Elon bought the platform, like I would just see endless crypto stuff, not even like spam stuff, just like people like Anthony Pompliano just like shilling crypto related startups over and over and over again. And I love Pomp, and I love like a lot of the people as like business people, but it's kind of the same thing of like it felt like in 2022 and 23, like if you were playing any game, you had to play this like get rich quick scheme game on Twitter in order to go viral. And there were like tons and tons and tons of accounts that built their entire personality around that. Just as today, there's tons and tons and tons of accounts that basically build their entire personality around like pro Tesla stuff. And I'm not sure if it's like people in low GDP countries that are just doing this for the X payouts. Like I'm somewhat convinced that remains like a huge problem. But obviously, some people are just doing this for the love of the game, or to get engagement from Elon, or to get engagement, eyeballs, because they know that it's like, the algorithm's going to like this content. But it is annoying how there's these sort of like waves, and no matter how many words you mute and how many accounts you block, like you can't get out of these cycles of just being like force-fed political stuff, or fight videos, or Tesla stuff, or crypto stuff. Like it's just a huge problem, I think, still today on X, which is a bummer.
Yeah. Are you optimistic or pessimistic about Nikita running product?
I'm very optimistic. I think he's already, like, from the stuff that he's publicly talked about. I know him a little bit. We overlapped together a little bit when he was consulting at XAI, and I was working on X and XAI stuff. And I think he did a great job there. Like it seemed very, I'll put it this way, it seemed very unlikely that a year ago or a year and a half ago that Grok could be an at all serious competitor to OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, so on and so forth. And now, like, maybe it still seems that way to some people, but I think that, as a platform, they have just like so overinvested in high quality talent there, and they've sort of like made Grok be legit against some of the major players. And so I think that that's just a crazy thing, because OpenAI has been at it for a decade. And Grok is just this, like, it's basically what we were just talking about with the trash company. It's like Elon just like acquired the end-to-end stack of like owning research, owning like GPU, like power companies basically in Memphis and like
Yeah.
cooling towers and stuff like that to like run this business vertically integrated end to end with minimal reliance on third parties. It's a pretty crazy thing that he's done. So
It does seem like Elon has this superpower ability to attract like this 22 to 26-year-old young man, who is just full of boundless energy at that stage in life with something to prove, is kind of the type to be looking for a father figure in life, a place to belong.
mm-hmm.
And like if I look at the people that seemingly are technical and get recruited into, that are like on Twitter, like, I just took my dream job at Tesla, or took my dream job at SpaceX or whatever, like that talent kind of like segment, which I think is a super powerful one to tap into. Like I cranked when I was 25 because I had nothing else to do.
Yep.
Like, and I had everything to prove. And, I was happy to go into work on Saturdays. They didn't ask me to. I just did it.
Yep.
And I think he's been so smart to see those type of folks and bring them in there. And, hats off for that. Really good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing how I mean, I think obviously like the companies have to perform well, but it seems like for the last decade, maybe up until very recently, where obviously Meta and OpenAI and some other players are like throwing around these crazy offers, but it's like from an engineer's mindset, you would be hard pressed to find more interesting companies than like SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink to work at. And then even for hardware engineers or things like that, like some of the work that like Boring Company is doing, it's pretty insane. So you have this like very big ambitious mission, and then that you're going to work really really hard, but the number goes up, and so that makes you feel good about your contribution if you're incentivized very heavily in equity, which is another sort of like Elon trait that doesn't get talked about a lot. Like he's very 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 low on cash comp across all of his companies. And he massively over indexes on equity, which has obviously worked really well for people that have 22-year-olds that joined Tesla in the last several years or at all, because the stock has gone up a lot. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with all of the like the X platform, Twitter platform stuff specifically within XAI. Is it just sort of like a data training ground now? Like how much does the product actually matter? How much do advertisers actually matter? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I have a recommendation. I did it over the weekend. I kind of was super mindful of how emotionally TikTok and Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and other platforms, like I kind of like paid attention to my emotions as I was getting into them. And I felt like X mostly brought out the feeling of anger in me, and TikTok brought the feeling of anxiety.
Interesting.
Facebook was a feeling of kind of curiosity and like happiness.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube felt like I more just a calmness, like I was just learning stuff, which may be how I've trained each algorithm. But the change I made on Saturday, and I don't regret it at all. 4 days later, was I took TikTok and X off my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And now if I want to watch, if I have that free moments or whatever, like I pull up a long form video on YouTube or listen to a podcast, and it just feels like healthier brain food in the whole the whole spectrum of things. And I think that's one of the things in retrospect that old Twitter did pretty well. It felt like a place where it gave more than it took.
Mm-hmm.
And today X really feels like a place where it takes more than it gives, right? Oh, you want your stuff done? Do you want your stuff to be seen? Well, you got to write really smart stuff and pay for the privilege to have it seen.
Yep.
Oh, you want to have your stuff seen? Oh, you're only going to get to talk about the things we want you to talk about. The idea of niche communities, like, forget about it.
Yep.
So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on it. Like, I'm still on the platforms. I'll keep doing them, but taking them off my phone, like,
Yeah,
huge
that
win.
makes sense. Yeah, I think it's this like intangible that everybody that was on Twitter in 2019, 2020, 21 felt, I think, which was like the SMB community was thriving. The kind of tech Twitter community was thriving. Real estate Twitter was like fascinating. You had like
Yep.
Moses Kagan and all these people emerging as like really interesting but super helpful. I say like thought leaders, but just like operators who were sharing their playbook around like what it's like to manage thousands of apartment units, what it's like to develop, buildings from the ground up, like what I think Sean Sweeney is his name has talked about. Hopefully, we'll get him on the show soon. But just like a bunch of those people, and then I don't know. I think that we went through this like there was a little bit of this like grift era where I think people who were otherwise doing it for the love of the game in 2020, 2021, just like out of boredom, we're all like locked, the world is locked down. We're all just trying to like mirror each other and like trying to be helpful. I don't know, the timeline turned, and I think it turned pre-Elon, but I think it has been exacerbated over the last couple of years of just like, you kind of went into this like get rich quick type mentality of like, you're not evaluating a business or buying a business because it's interesting or because you want it to be your life's work or because you know it's going to be hard, but you're like buying a vending machine business because Cody Sanchez is talking about it and she has 1 million followers and she's like sort of pumping that, down your throat a little bit. And then there's like 100 knockoffs of what she's talking about. And then it just gets really, really crowded with stuff that like any business operator, like who has any experience at all, it just becomes this sort of like entrepreneur bullshit that you see a lot on Instagram, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. In retrospect, I think the biggest mistake was creator payouts. Like, if I could go back and just be like, don't do this. Like, I think that's the biggest mistake for X. And it used to be, it's, the creator payouts or something where it's like 300 and, like I'm getting like $500 every 2 weeks from writing stuff on Twitter. Great. I don't understand how that math works. You can't trust any of the analytics.
Right.
And so I think if I look back at the creator payouts, there was a game I felt like people were playing, like Moses Kagan or myself, where it's like, oh, there should be a competition of ideas here, and I want to write really smart stuff because I'm brand building on Twitter. And then that becomes very powerful because you have those connections where you can achieve your goals in life. But then you have a situation where now by doing this, like, payouts, it diminishes the game totally, right? Like, who cares about $500 a month? Like, I want to hear what Bill Gurley, has to say on stuff, right? Like, and that should be a competition for who can write the smartest stuff, which is a game much more valuable than, just the situation with like $500 creator payoffs. So,
yeah, I think that has I probably don't have it as curated as I want, but I've seen that same thing on YouTube. Like, it felt like YouTube 5 years ago was a lot more like small, interesting channels, and now even some of the smaller channels that I've followed, they like people have realized that you can make a lot of money. Depending on what a lot of money means to you, you can make a lot of money with like 100,000 followers. Or 100,000 subscribers. And so it's like, now there's this game of like and share and reply. I don't know, that the whole thing is just so gamified versus being helpful on a lot of these like even smaller channels that I follow. So we'll see.
I had a video go viral on YouTube. I don't know if you saw
Which
it.
one?
The Top Golf one. Yeah, we got. Yeah,
I saw
speaking
some of
of
the
money,
shorts. I saw some of the. I mean, I do subscribe to you on YouTube. Everybody go
thank you.
subscribe to Michael. But so I mean that helps because I see some of the shorts and the long form videos in my feed. But it is funny because you talked, I think, last time about how people like the negative, and it is great because when I went to your YouTube profile, I think like the top 4 videos when I sorted by popular were like, why this business failed, why that business failed, why this business didn't make it. It's great. People love it.
Yeah, it's like, why Topgolf failed? Why is the Sphere failing? Why is wine dying? Why are craft breweries dying? Why is Lululemon dying? Why is diamond industry collapsing? Why is tequila not working? Yeah. The one outlier is I did do a like how it happened video on Dave's Hot Chicken. Did we talk about that?
No.
That it's like it's a Nashville style chicken. Chain that sold for $1 billion after starting with $600 on a folding table. That went pretty well. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's the thing that I love about YouTube right now is the algorithm and the creation process feels rewarding. Like there's nothing rewarding. Like X has lost that from a Twitter perspective, or entirely, like, and to show how much has lost it, like for most of this morning notifications didn't work, so if somebody did like your tweet you had no idea. Like that's how
still
low
right now I think for me they don't work, but yeah.
And this is the saddest thing about YouTube versus where X/Twitter has gone for me, is that like the replies that I get on stuff on average are smarter on YouTube than they are on X. Like X used to be the place where like really smart people hung out, and there was this gamification of like who could be the smartest, and like present company excluded, et cetera. But like I used to, they're smarter on YouTube. That's just my point, which makes me sad.
Yeah, it's terrifying because I do. I mean, people ask all the time, and I don't have the answer. I'd be curious what you think. Like, it's sort of like where did this conversation go? Like, did we just really get tired of it? Like, it's definitely not on LinkedIn comments. Maybe it is on YouTube comments, but like I used to say a lot more stuff on Twitter. And I think maybe for me, it's just my activity of like contributing to things online has just diminished a lot over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Like in 2021, I was just posting a lot more. 22. I occasionally will open like subreddits, which have very helpful things if you follow like niche stuff that you're interested in. And it's incredible. Like Reddit is just this like political dumpster fire in the complete opposite way that that Twitter is. Like you go on there and it's like, who's the most evil person like alive today? And it's just like Trump, Putin, Netanyahu, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel. It's like, really, like these are the most evil people that we can come up with who are alive today. I mean, maybe some of them, but probably not Peter Thiel. And so it's like it's this just like insanity that you can't avoid in one direction on Twitter. You can't avoid it on the other on Reddit. And so I hate Reddit. LinkedIn is a dumpster fire in a different way, at least from a commenting perspective. TikTok I've never used, but it doesn't seem great. And so, yeah, maybe it is just like people doing interesting YouTube content and then, you know, their fan base replying to it. I don't know how much like Patreon or Discord or Slack groups have pulled off, but I'm not really in any of those. But yeah, it's sort of like what happened to all these people that were contributing to like the SMB real estate tech Twitter in 2021, 22? Did they just stop, or did they migrate somewhere else, or did they go to like 20 different channels? I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder if this is kind of just we're living dead internet theory, right? And
Seems
kind of
like
the moment it all potentially started was the group chat era starting, right? That was kind of the moment that Twitter peaked and you started to see people start to branch off. And there was a concern at one point that Twitter was going to shut down and all that kind of stuff. I forgot when that was, but like people put together like a LinkedIn group to like recreate SMB Twitter. And I'm still involved in a handful of like group chats that are some of my favorite people on Twitter, you know, and I don't see them in my feed anymore, but like they're friends. I haven't, it's like you, the friends haven't met face to face, and hopefully we'll fix that someday, but same kind of deal. I think it sounds like dead internet theory is showing up.
Yeah. I mean, I think all this stuff is cyclical. It does feel like, and I think Nikita is thinking a lot about this, which is why I'm very bullish, but it does feel like it was this like massive, you know, true back to the old like Twitter slogan of like it's like the the town square of the world or whatever. Like you would have so many people, so many eyeballs, so much engagement, but the conversations felt like you were in a group text or something. So like if you and 20 other people who were always going back and forth, you had millions of people watching this. But the world felt very small. And I think that that's one good thing about super niche subreddits. That's one good thing about YouTubers that I follow that have 1,700 subscribers. Like the world feels small. You see the same names in the comments over and over. People give, shout outs to their audience. Like that is really cool. And I think we're whiplashing very much back to a world where like it's all about sort of these like smaller sub communities. And it'll be interesting to see if any like new social products get built around that, because I think that there's huge opportunity there of like you said on Facebook, like bringing things back to a world where most people I know have 200 to 2,000 Facebook friends, but like nobody cares to optimize or grow that number. But in many ways, like those are like interesting conversations with people that you love and care about, and like you want to follow their lives and vice versa. So I don't know. We definitely need more of that online today, I think.
So reason for optimism, and then I got to run if that's okay. There was Nikita came in, and like there was a discussion that was kind of like old Twitter. Like Moses wrote something about like, hey, I miss this aspect of old Twitter where like high signal, high value stuff got amplified rather than buried. And Nikita came in and was like, I hear you totally. I see the value in that. We want that. We want to fix that. Here's the problem. The problem is that changing to kind of amplify these niche communities, engagement numbers and the metrics go way down.
Yep.
So then you look fast forward like 5 days later, Nikita's hinted like he's in the background working on changing things in the algorithm. And most people, including myself, like the past 2 days, much better. Like quality of what I'm reading. Like I love it comparatively compared to a week ago where I was like deleting the app off my phone. So that's really good. Like you're seeing that, like problem identified, Nikita appears to have the power to deal with it. I think the big open question is long term, is this business doomed as X because of outside factors that Nikita can't overcome, which is they need metrics to keep the lenders happy, and they need metrics to keep the people who've put money into X.AI, which now we're using X.AI. That's what this product is now. It's not a social network anymore. We are data training their AI is what we're doing.
Yep.
And so the question is like, okay, he could fix that and bring all that back again to kind of the old Twitter. The question is like, does the structure of how this thing is set up allow that to happen? And I don't know.
Yep. I don't know. And it's going to get really weird when Grok starts doing like AI characters on the timeline, which will happen in the next year.
Speaking of dead internet theory, I guess I don't want AI friends. Nobody wants it. Don't make it. Zuckerberg,
I think young people do want it, but that's a whole separate podcast or live stream.
Oh yeah, maybe next week we should talk about the T app.
Oh yeah,
where women were reporting the rate my professor for males in the dating scene. Just a total disaster. Well, I mean, okay, so let's talk about it since we're here. The crazy thing about that rate my spill the tea app where it's a Glassdoor for males in dating, like the thing that the women are complaining about where good men don't approach them, like they don't want to be like being human beings and like being out in the dating thing. The thing they're complaining about where there's like they're selecting out good actors from the dating thing, like creating an app like that is going to scare away good men who are scared of getting shamed. Like that's going to make the problem. You're making the problem worse by trying to solve it. Like that's the thing where I just look at it. I'm like, this is insane. Like everybody close their phones, go outside and talk to somebody.
Yeah, it's the same thing. This is like one of my major criticisms with like the direction that Grok and many other companies, Character AI and ChatGPT is doing some of this. Like if you go back to some of the fundamental problems that people are talking about, whether it's like economic growth, how many kids people are having, if you really care about those type of things, then creating AI characters that can talk to you in sexy voices online is probably not the answer. Like, we need to go very, very far away from that in order to fix some of these like core societal issues. So these things do not, like, there is no world where these things can be balanced of like, people need to be meeting in person, but we also need people spending hours a day on these apps and talking to their AI friends all day.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So, well, I just did a video that is on Tinder. Talked about the struggles and the demise of Tinder, which young people hate Tinder. Like, they're quitting it en masse. But it's a fundamental problem where the apps are designed to help you find a mate, but actually that's against the monetization model for the apps. They actually don't want you to be successful in dating. And it's the structural problem with all of these dating sites, which is like, they actually want you to stay addicted and keep doing recurring revenue for them. It's like, oh, okay, great.
Totally.
It is what it is. All right, man. Well, I got to run if that's okay. We'll see you next week. Eric, by the way, if anybody worries about Eric, he didn't no show on us. It was just a calendar error. So he emailed me. He's like, "Oh, hey, I'll see you guys in September." I was like, "Great. We'll see you then." So
We'll see you then. All right. Good stuff.
All right, brother. Talk to you.
Later.